I never wanted to share this story, but tonight, I feel like I don't have a choice. If you're hearing my voice right now, take it as a warning, because what I saw, what I lived through, it wasn't meant for human eyes. Every word I'm about to speak is real, and once you hear it, you might never sleep the same way again. It all began on what seemed like a normal night, the kind of night where the world feels heavy, and the silence presses down on you like a weight. I was alone, in my dorm room, staring at the dim glow of my laptop screen. Outside the window, darkness stretched endlessly, the kind of darkness that swallows every sound, every shape, until the world feels completely dead. Usually, the dorms are loud, music, laughter, doors slamming, but that night, nothing, an unnatural quiet. The kind of silence that feels wrong, like the building itself was holding its breath. Across from my room, there was an old library. It had been locked for years, condemned, people said. The wood was rotten, the shelves broken, and the books inside were supposedly falling apart. No one ever went in there. The seniors whispered about it sometimes, said people heard things from inside late at night. I never believed them, until that night. I heard it. A sound. At first it was soft, almost easy to ignore. Just a little tapping, like someone drumming their fingers on a desk. Tap, tap, tap. My heart sank. It wasn't random, it had rhythm, like it was meant to get my attention. I told myself it was just the pipes, or maybe the wind, or anything but what it sounded like. But deep down, I knew. Someone or something was inside that locked library. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I was curious, maybe I was stupid. But I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept across the hallway. My hands shook as I touched the door handle. It was supposed to be locked. Everyone swore it was sealed shut. But when I pulled, it opened. Slowly, with a scream of rusted hinges. The smell hit me first. Not just old paper and dust. No, something wetter, heavier, like damp soil mixed with rust, like blood. I stepped inside, my flashlight cutting through the dark. The shelves loomed, covered in dust thick enough to choke on. Cobwebs stretched from corner to corner. Broken chairs lay scattered across the floor like they'd been tossed it, and then I heard it again. Tap, tap, tap. Closer now. I turned the light toward the sound. A desk. On top of it lay a book. Open. The pages fluttered, but there was no breeze. They moved as if an invisible hand was turning them. I swallowed hard, stepped closer. My phone trembled in my grip. On the page, in bold black letters, were the words, "Do not turn the page." My chest tightened. My instincts screamed at me to run. But some force, something I can't explain, made me reach out. My fingers brushed the paper, and then I turned it. The instant the page flipped, ice shot through my veins. The air went cold, my breath fogged in front of me, and then a whisper, right in my ear. "Why? Did you open it?" I froze. The light darted to the corner. Something moved. Not a person, not a shadow, something in between. A figure stretched unnaturally tall, its body shifting like smoke. I saw God, its eyes pure white. No pupils, no iris, just endless white. Its mouth opened wider than a human jaw ever could, stretching in a grotesque silent scream. I stumbled back, choking on my breath. My mind screamed that it wasn't real, that it couldn't be real, but it was. I could feel the weight of its presence pressing against me. I bolted, slammed the library door shut, heart racing. My hand shook as I jammed the lock. But then, scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound of nails dragging against the other side of the door. Slow, deliberate. I ran back to my room, slammed my own door shut, and locked it. My chest heaved, lungs burning. For a moment, everything was silent again. Then, the handle of my door rattled, violently, like someone was trying to force it open. I backed into the corner, phone clutched tight. My flashlight beam shook against the wall. My ears rang with silence, and then it stopped. My phone buzzed, a notification. I looked down. The screen glowed with a message I didn't recognize. It read, "We saw you. Don't sleep tonight." I dropped the phone. My hands were slick with sweat. My thoughts raced my friends. Maybe they were pranking me. I dialed one of them, voice shaking. "Did you send this? Are you messing with me?" On the other end, a groggy voice replied, "What the hell are you talking about? The library's been locked for 10 years. Nobody can get inside." The line went dead. I felt my stomach twist, because the smell was still there. That same rotten, earthy, metallic stench. But this time, it wasn't coming from the hallway. It was inside my room. I flicked on the light. The bulb flickered, buzzed, and then blew out with a pop. In that split second before the dark swallowed me, I saw it. The white eyes, standing right beside my bed. I screamed. Darkness closed in. And then, a whisper, low and guttural. "Now, you belong to me." I couldn't move. My body locked, every muscle frozen in terror. My phone slipped from my hand. The flashlight flared back on as it hit the ground, but the figure was gone. Instead, on the wall, written in something thick and red, were words I'll never forget. First page opened, 3 more to go, and that was only the beginning. Asterisk, I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw those white, glowing eyes hovering in the darkness, waiting for me. The smell never left either. That thick, metallic rot. It clung to my clothes, my sheets, my skin. By morning, I thought maybe I imagined it all. Maybe it was some kind of nightmare. But then, I saw the wall. The words I thought I dreamed. First page opened. 3 more to go were still there. Dark, smeared, dripping, and the worst part, they weren't written on the wall. They were carved into it. Like someone had dug into the plaster with their bare hands. I tried to convince myself it was a prank. Someone could have broken in, written it, and left. But the lock on my door still latched from the inside. No one had come in or out. And then I noticed something else. My phone, lying on the floor, the flashlight still on. The screen cracked down the middle, and in the Notes app, a single sentence typed out. Turn the second page. I swear to God, I never typed it. My stomach twisted. The book, the one in the library. Whatever this thing was, it wanted me back there. I swore to myself I wouldn't go. I blocked out the windows, shoved my desk against the door, tried to keep the light on all day. But no matter what I did, the message kept coming back. On my phone, on the bathroom mirror, even whispered through the vents. Always the same. Turn the second page. By nightfall, I couldn't take it anymore. My head pounded, my chest felt like it was caving in. Something wanted me in that library, and it wasn't going to stop until I obeyed. So, I went back. The hallway felt endless this time, every step heavier than the last. When I reached the door, my heart nearly stopped, because it wasn't locked anymore. It was wide open, like it had been waiting for me. The smell hit even stronger this time, like raw meat left in the sun, mixed with mold and dust. I forced myself inside, my phone shaking in my hand. The book was still there, waiting on the desk, pages fluttering. This time, it had changed. On the open page, in thick, black script, it read, "You already know what to do." My hands trembled. My throat went dry. Slowly, I reached out. The air felt colder the closer my fingers came. And when I touched the paper, I swear I felt it breathe. The second page flipped, and the lights went out. Not just in the library, the whole building. My phone flickered, then died, even though I had charged it all day. Darkness swallowed me whole, and in that silence, something whispered again. But this time, not in my ear. It came from everywhere. A chorus of voices. Low, guttural, overlapping. Now you've invited us in. My knees buckled. I pressed against the desk, chest heaving, trying to find the words, trying to understand. Invited them in where? And then, I heard it. The screams. Not mine, not in my head. Real, coming from the floors above me. I ran out of the library, my footsteps echoing down the stairwell. Doors banged, lights flickered, and with each step, the screams grew louder, desperate, agonized. When I reached the second floor, I froze. The hallway was lined with doors, but every door was shaking violently, as if someone inside was clawing, begging to get out. Hands, pale, twisted, not human, slammed against the glass windows. Fingers too long, nails sharp as blades, skin peeling away in chunks. They weren't my classmates. They weren't people anymore. One face pressed against the glass, its eyes white, its mouth opening and stretching wide as it shrieked. Turn. The third page. I bolted, heart slamming against my ribs, sprinting back to my room. I slammed the door shut, threw my desk back against it, collapsed on the floor. My breath came in short, sharp gasps, but the screaming didn't stop. It followed me. It came through the vents, through the walls, through the floor. My room vibrated with it, like the whole building had become one giant throat, choking on its own terror. And then, silence. I waited. 1 second. 2, 3. Then my phone lit up again. The cracked screen glowed, even though it had been dead. A message burned across it in bright red letters. Third page. Tonight. I threw the phone against the wall, screaming, tears burning my eyes. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. But deep down, I knew it was. That night, I didn't leave my room. I kept every light on, my back pressed against the corner, watching the shadows dance across the walls. But sometime around 3 a.m., the lights flickered, and something began crawling. I didn't hear footsteps. I didn't see movement. I felt it. The vibration of nails dragging across wood, inch by inch. Something was crawling under my bed. I held my breath, heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. Slowly, shaking, I leaned down, and I saw them. 2 pale, bony hands gripping the floorboards, fingers bending in impossible directions. Slowly, a face emerged from the darkness beneath my bed. Wide eyes, wide mouth, dripping red teeth. It smiled at me and whispered, "We're waiting for you to turn the page." I screamed, lunged for the door, tearing it open. The hallway was pitch black, but the library door was glowing, faint red light seeping through the cracks, and I knew I didn't have a choice. I stumbled toward it, shaking, sobbing, begging under my breath for it to stop. But the second I stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind me. The book lay open on the desk again. This time, the words on the page read, 2 pages remain. Asterisk, asterisk, the book was alive. I knew it now, not just paper, not just ink. Every page I turned, something inside me changed. Something inside this building changed. And now, with only 2 pages left, I wasn't sure if I could survive what waited for me. I stood in the library, staring down at the open book. My hands shook so hard I could barely hold the flashlight. The words shifted on the page, alive, crawling like worms across the paper, until they settled into a single sentence. Turn the 3rd page. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened, my throat burned. The memory of those hands under my bed still haunted me, the grin etched into my skull. And now here it was, demanding more. Slowly, against every ounce of reason, I reached out. My fingers touched the paper. The room groaned. The walls bent inward, like the whole library was breathing with me. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through my bones. And then the 3rd page turned. The lights exploded. Every bulb in the ceiling shattered, raining glass over me. My flashlight flickered once, then died, leaving me in suffocating black. And then the voices began again. Not whispers this time, not distant echoes. They screamed. Thousands of them, all around me, inside me, screaming in agony, in rage, in hunger. I clutched my ears, dropped to my knees, screaming back, begging them to stop. But then one voice rose above the rest, deeper, clearer, right behind me. "You have one left." I spun, but nothing was there. Only darkness pressing against my skin, wrapping around me like a shroud. I staggered to my feet, reaching for the desk, for the book. But the book was gone. No, worse. It wasn't gone. It was everywhere. The shelves stretched higher, twisting upward into impossible towers of books. Thousands upon thousands of them, all whispering at once. Pages flapped open, words crawled across the air, bleeding ink onto the floor. The library wasn't a room anymore. It was a maze, a trap, and I was inside it. I ran, my footsteps echoing on endless stone floors, my breath ragged. I turned corner after corner, but every row of shelves led deeper, farther, darker. The whispers followed me, louder, faster, until finally I saw it. The desk, in the center of the maze, and the book waiting. I collapsed onto it, chest heaving, my trembling, hands slamming against the wood. The book glowed faintly, its pages fluttering open on their own. And there it was. The fourth and final page. But this one wasn't blank. It already had words. In thick, wet ink, it read, "Your story ends here." I froze. My skin crawled. My throat closed. And then, something moved behind me. A shadow. No bigger than that. A shape. Towering. Its limbs stretched impossibly long, dragging across the shelves, its head scraping the ceiling. White eyes opened, one by one, all across its body, blinking in perfect unison. It stepped closer. The floor cracked under its weight. Its voice shook the air. "Turn it." I couldn't move. My body locked in place, paralyzed by terror. My hand hovered over the page, shaking, my fingers inches from it, and then something grabbed me. Hands, dozens of them, pale, bony, clawed. They burst from the floor, the shelves, the walls, wrapping around my arms, my legs, my throat. They dragged me forward, forcing me down, slamming my face against the paper. The shadow loomed above, its mouth splitting open across its chest, lined with endless rows of teeth. "Turn it," I screamed, fighting, thrashing, begging. But the hands forced me down, my fingers pressing against the final page. The paper burned against my skin. My vision blurred, my body convulsed. And then, it turned. The book slammed shut. Silence, the hands vanished. The shadow dissolved. The library fell still. I lay there, gasping, my body trembling, sweat soaking, my clothes. Slowly, I lifted my head. The book was gone. The desk was gone. The shelves were gone. I wasn't in the library anymore. I was in my bedroom. For a moment, I thought it was over. I thought I had escaped, but then I saw it, on the wall, carved deep into the plaster, just like before. Chapter 1 complete. My heart stopped. My throat closed. Chapter 1. No, it couldn't be. I stumbled back, my knees hitting the bed. My phone buzzed on the floor. Slowly, I picked it up, my hands trembling so hard I nearly dropped it. On the screen, a new note appeared. "Welcome to Chapter 2. I screamed, hurling the phone across the room, but it didn't break. The screen stayed lit. Words kept typing, on their own, line after line, descriptions, scenes, pages. It was, writing a story, my story. And then, I understood. The book wasn't in the library. The book wasn't in my room. The book was me. Every scream, every shadow, every nightmare, it was writing itself into me, feeding on me, using me. And it wasn't finished. The lights flickered. The shadows deepened. The smell returned, thick and rotting. filling my lungs. And from the darkness under my bed, the hands began to crawl out again. Dozens, hundreds. White eyes opened all around me, and one final whisper filled the room, rattling the walls, shaking the floor, splitting the air like thunder. The story only ends when you do. And that was the last thing I remember before everything went black. Maybe I died that night. Maybe I didn't. But if you're hearing this, if my voice is reaching you, then it's already too late. Because once you've listened, once you've heard the story, you've already turned the first page. The end